Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, and we're still in Chevalier's route, and we're just continuing where we left off, which is God, if I freaking know where, because it's been a while since I've played, because, you know. Anyway, so we're just picking up, you probably know better than I do, even though for you it might have been a week already. I'm not even sure what part this is. Is this the first part that's going up on a Sunday? Is it the second one? I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. You know better than I do. Because you're living it now, and I'm like, it's future me's problem, or current me. Anyway, we're where we are, and we're just going to continue, so. By the time we return, the table's been set for dinner. Did we just go to the Marchand and see to ask about doing the waltz with the festivities for the thing, for the festival, and the magic show thing just happened? Is that what just happened? I don't look. I'm guessing. That's the last thing I remember, but Ophelia and Father are both pleasant and conversational, but Emmeline and Rod's like a storm cloud and keeps casting sharp looks at Lance, who's beginning to look distinctly uncomfortable. Oh, right. Okay, they're here. Rod only looks away when Claude directly addresses him. Have you given any thought to that exchange program I mentioned before, Prince Rod? Anyway. Your invite to stay in Brigantia and learn traditional dances? Indeed. We'd love to host you. Claude glances at his brother. And if you'll have him, my brother would like to extend his stay in Angeal. He's interested in learning more about the foreign policies here. I've always had a special interest in the subject. Yeah. He wants to learn about those foreign policies of your sister, Rod. You better watch it. I forget sometimes that because Claude is the heir, his brother has more freedom than he does. The freedom, for instance, to extend visitations. I, for one, think it's a wonderful idea. Rod shrugs. I'm still thinking about it. He looks skeptically at Lance. You're interested in foreign policy? Who'd be teaching you? Not my sister, Shirley. Your sister Shirley knows? I'm just kidding. You know we don't have that kind of expertise, Rod. Lance smiles. You shouldn't underplay your talents, Princess Emmeline. Your Angeal history lessons are always enlightening. Oh, thank you. If Rod were a witch, I have no doubt he'd set Lance on fire with just his scowl. That's like his permanent face, though. Before the situation could become any more heated, Chevalier clears his throat. I don't know what it is about this pose when he does it. It seems so shady. Like, don't you just... It's slightly creepy. Like, I love him to death. But I just feel like he's about to be like, so I'm like he's going to come into some mad scientist rant or something weird that you're going to be like, I'm going to just back out of the room slowly. I just feel like that's what's coming when he makes this face. Like, I don't know what it is. Suppose it's something he's like, there's something slightly like devious and evil about to come out of his mouth. And it never is. It's just, there's just something about his stance and everything about it that just screams that. And I'm like, it makes it funny. I don't know why. Anyway, if Princess Emmeline's not up to the task, and then I humbly volunteer to educate the prince about Angeal politics. What? He winks at me. The princess can vouch for me. I'm an excellent teacher, aren't I? That is not the right answer. I can't wait till we do the good ending, because I can't wait to see what happens when we pick that. Bring up his lessons in flirting. His lessons in anatomy. Okay, I'm sorry. I know we're just going in like actual doctor science stuff, but it really sounds so bad when you're like, yeah, he's taught me a lot about anatomy, and your father just fucking chokes. Like, neither one of these seems like good things to say at a table with our family, but Chevalier taught me everything I know about medicine and the human body. I still think there's a way to phrase that would have just sounded so fucking inappropriate. Just be like, what? You perverts. He's very good at explaining even complicated things. Chevalier looks taken aback. Well, you were an excellent student, Spacey. Must he always compliment me when I'm trying to compliment him? Politics and medicine are hardly related. I disagree. We're all surprised when my father speaks. The practice may be different, but the incentives are the same. Both doctors and governments work to protect the health and well-being of the citizens they serve. Politics aren't just the backbone of our nation, they're a salve for our country's wounds. I've never thought about it that way. Chevalier looks similarly odd. I don't miss the gratitude in his eyes. I hope he sees that father values his opinions and experience. Your Majesty. Father chuckles. I can't speak for his other lessons, but Chevalier and I have had very insightful conversations about politics. It's true. In the very least, Father seems to enjoy discussing politics with Chevalier over breakfast. Our father is just happy anyone loves us at this point, okay? And it's only because we were a frigid bitch for the first 18 years of our life. You know what I mean? Like, we're 17, however old we were in the first game, but whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So now he's like, well, I know you changed, sweetie, and you're great and all, but I'm just really fucking happy with any man you bring home that wants to marry you because, like, I didn't think this was going to happen. I know that you now is different than you years ago, but I'm just saying, still haven't gotten used to it. He said before that he believes Chevalier provides a unique, more personal perspective on such issues, having been directly impacted by them before. It would be an honor to learn from a man as well-learned as you, Sir Chevalier. Sir Chevalier. It's hard to say that. Wow. And it'd be my honor to assist you, Your Highness. I scrape absently at my plate with my fork as the conversation continues. I expect to leave the dining hall with Chevalier once the meal is cleared, but am surprised when Claude requests his company. Okay, I dig this. Can we... Again, I'm just going to shove my way in between this man sandwich. Hey! I don't know. I want to talk to you about Lance's so-called instruction. Oh, how brotherly of you! I can't help it, they have the same voice. Chevalier leans over to plant a kiss on my cheek. I'll be back in a bit, my sweet princess. Wait for me. I wasn't expecting it, but now I have time to finish that scarf. I have nowhere else to be, Chev. Take your time. Please, please take your time. I nod. This will be good for him. Maybe Claude can give him some advice on how to interact with the nobles. I shall look forward to seeing your beautiful smile again, sweet Spacey. He and Claude depart, followed shortly by Emmeline and Lance. Rod remains, looking moodily at his plate while Ophelia discusses the exchange program with him. With no reason to stay, I curtsy and excuse myself from the hall. I waste no time in resuming work on the scarf. For the first time in a long time, I'm completely focused. The motivation of the needle and thread becomes almost hypnotic, my fingers moving without any thought. The embellishments take less time than I anticipated, and before I realize it, the scarf lays finished on my desk. I run my fingers over the stitches. They're nowhere near as precise as Bria's, and yet it's not bad. I lay the scarf on my lap with a smile. Do we get to see it? We got to see the plushie that you made for Rod. Finally, I can give Chevalier something nice, and we got to see the plushies that Karma gave to us. Time passes slowly without Chevalier there. In the silence, I find myself remembering the conversation I had with Ophelia. She said the best way to help Chevalier was to support him without standing up for him. I immediately think of the scarf. Tonight might be a good time to give it to him, just to show him that I'm always thinking of him. I can't help my sudden nerves. He wore Bria's scarf every day. What if he doesn't think mine is worth that? I startle so badly at the knock I almost fall off my bed. Permission to come in, my lovely princess. I take a deep breath as I fold the scarf on my lap. Come in. It's funny, I really, like, he and Karma do have similar personalities where they're both kind of like, they fawn over you a little. Karma also fawns over himself a lot more. So he's a little more selfish than Chevalier, but they still both have that fawning over you kind of thing, and I just... Maybe that's why I like them. I just want someone to fawn over me, okay? Just someone to fawn over me just a little bit. The door opens and Chevalier slides inside with a bright smile. Finally, I've returned. And just in time. One more hour away from you, and I would have certainly withered away. But... He pauses. Princess, you're as stiff as a board. Are you okay? I realize how tense I am and try to force myself to relax. I'm fine. How is your talk with Claude? It was good. A lot of catching up. He narrows his eyes. Are you sure you're all right? With his eyes trained so completely on my face, he doesn't even notice the scarf. As he leans in to brush a strand of hair off my forehead, I seize my chance. I lean up to wrap the scarf around his neck. Aww, cute. Here's our little CG of us putting our little scarf on him. Man, she even stitched plaid into it. Like, that must have taken a long time. I'm kidding. Still funny. Chevalier freezes. I become aware of the way we were standing, with me with my hands on his chest, he with his fingers wrapped around one of my wrists. What is this? He reaches up and touches the scarf around his neck. I'm trying to strangle you. I'm just kidding. Spacey, is this... You said you needed a new scarf, so I made you one. You made this for me? Chevalier runs his fingers across the pattern in awe. And then he smiles, so brightly it makes me smile too. Spacey, and this is the most spectacular gift I've ever received. He proclaims it so softly, so sincerely that it makes my stomach leap into my throat. There's no need for you to exaggerate. It's no exaggeration. And this is stunning work, and the fact that you made it for me. He shakes his head. Oh, look, they put the scarf on him! That's so cute! I love it. I'll treasure it for the rest of my days. He pulls me closer and tips my chin up. I'll never take this off. That's gonna make sex awkward. I mean... And showering. They're just gonna make a lot of things awkward, okay? That would be foolish. You should take it off. It's silly, and yet, the proclamation brings me so much joy I act without thinking, rising up on the tips of my toes to give Chevalier a kiss. He cups my face and kisses me back, a deep kiss that makes me feel both buoyant and grounded, and that makes electricity shoot through my veins down to the soles of my feet. It's a kiss that leaves me breathless. When I pull away, Chevalier has such a soft smile on his face, and I can't help but kiss him again. Once, twice, 3 times on his lips. Aw, now he's blushing. That's so cute. What did I do to deserve you, princess? You offered me just the right amount of lily-shaped chocolates, apparently. Chevalier laughs. I hope you're prepared for me to shower you with baked goods for the rest of your life, then. The minute he says the words, he freezes, suddenly looking sheepish. The rest of your life, he said. A bold promise, one that makes my heart soar. But Chevalier looks nervous, as if he's worried he's overstepped his boundaries. That is, if you'll have me. Thank you, Chev. Chevalier is flattered, but that's just who he is. He's never failed to make me feel special for just being myself. No, Spacey. Thank you. He sets his hand on his scarf. For everything. With this new scarf, I'm undefeatable. More so, even, because I've come up with a plan to get on everyone's good side here at the palace. A plan? Chevalier plops himself down on my bed. You'll see. I don't want to spoil anything just yet. I settle myself beside him, close enough I can tuck myself into his side. He wraps an arm around my shoulders and smiles. Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll work. If there's anyone who can befriend a stubborn noble, it's you. Such praise, coming from the most lovable princess in all of Angeal. You really will say anything to get on my good side, won't you? I shove him playfully in the shoulder. It's nothing but a light touch, but Chevalier still topples to the bed. He grins as I lean over him. Never. I only speak the truth. Is that so? When I attempt to kiss him on the cheek, he turns his face, and my lips find his mouth instead. Positive. His smile is coy, almost challenging. I don't bother retorting with words, instead responding with another kiss. So many kisses that I soon lose count. Nothing matters but the softness of Chevalier's lips and the warmth of his embrace. Oh. I think in the end, I might be the one to fall asleep first. Tucked into Chevalier's side, my face pressed to his neck, I feel myself drifting. His scarf is wrapped around the both of us, softer and cozier than any blanket. For the first time in a long while, I fall asleep content. Chapter 5? Yeah. The Merrymaker, Chapter 5. What a brilliant day! The sun is shining, the town is full of laughter, and we'd really like to finish hanging this banner. And will you hurry up? You're as prickly as ever, tiny lord. Chevalier looks up at Waltz, who's crouched on a wooden beam above the stage, waiting for Chevalier to hand him the other end of the banner. The three of them are hanging the most central spring festival decoration, a banner signed by many of the townsfolk. It was just yesterday that Emmeline and Anise oversaw its creation. The day before that, Chevalier and I set up various floral arrangements around town, while workers hired by the palace set up stalls around town. Everyone's been filled with errands like this. I'd returned to the palace so exhausted I barely make it to bed before I fall asleep. But it's worth it. Chevalier throws the banner up to Waltz, who begins nailing it to the beam. And got it. Chevalier gestures dramatically. Citizens of Angel, behold, our beautiful spring festival banner. The crowd ripples with excitement, cheering and whistling as Chevalier steps down. It is a rather impressive banner, filled with so many colors and signatures it's impossible to make out any coherent design. I suppose it has a sort of chaotic charm to it, though. I don't know who's saying, I hear the banner was your idea. I feel like it's Delora, but nope, it's Fritz. I forgot Fritz wasn't dead in this route. Fritz appears beside me. Though he's here as security, he seems at ease, relaxed. It's a small thing. I imagine the citizens would disagree with you. The two of us watch as Waltz floats back down to the stage using his magic. He snaps his fingers, causing confetti to rain down from the sky. The audience applauds again. Why are you looking at me like that? It's nothing. I was just thinking that I'm glad I get to see you smile like this. When I first met you, I thought you always looked so sad. I wanted so badly to make you smile, and not being able to made me feel incomplete. Fritz, you could never be incomplete. The reason I was the way I was, it was because of Mother. I can acknowledge that now, even if it still hurts. Fritz smiles. It helped, leaving the palace all those years ago, didn't it? I hate to give Delora any credit, but it did. I didn't realize the emptiness of my life stemmed from loneliness until Chevalier taught me the value of connecting with others. I'm glad you and Sir Chevalier found each other. I am too, and I'm glad you found your way back here too, Fritz. I owe it to you that I'm here, Princess. He glances one more time at the makeshift stage before turning to the crowd. I'm on duty now, but I'll see you around? Of course. Take care, Fritz. And you as well, Princess. With one last bow, Fritz disappears into the crowd. The moment he leaves, I notice two familiar faces pushing toward me. Spacey! Oh, we've been looking for you! We were surprised not to see you on stage. It's been a busy morning, but neither of them looks worse for wear. I decided I'd let Chevalier and Waltz do the honors, and maybe if we were using magic to hang things. Oh, I've never seen you use your magic for convenience before. After being forced to clean with Mr. Broom, Spacey said she didn't want to charm objects. And my opinion hasn't changed. I'm never commanding an object to do my bidding. The last thing I need is another overbearing sentient object in my life. Anise laughs. Mr. Broom would be heartbroken if it heard you say that, Princess. He really misses you. Well, I don't miss Mr. Broom. Most times. I do wonder sometimes if I ought to bring Mr. Broom to the palace. For nostalgia's sake, nothing more. I love that she misses the broom. Where are the Brigantian princes? Weren't they with you two earlier? Oh, we lost them. Anise laughs. Or rather, we left them. I doubt they even noticed. They were in the middle of an argument. It's things like this that make me glad I grew up an only child. That sounds like them. And Rod? He's meditating. Or trying to. It wasn't going too well, so Emmeline and I decided to leave to find you. A wise decision, I'd say. I have no idea who said that. I hate it when it says voice. It's like, just say who it is! Like, because I don't know what voice to give them. Anyway. I whirl to find Chevalier standing by my side. Okay, it was him. Good afternoon, ladies. He leans down to plant a kiss on my head. Good afternoon, my beautiful queen. Back to calling me queen, I see. I sigh, but I can't help the smile on my face. Thank you for your hard work, Chev. It is, as always, an honor to serve, sweet Spacey. We all glance back at the stage where Waltz and Cinna are performing impromptu magic for the still-gathered crowd. So this marks the beginning of the spring festival, then? Just about. The royal family will be giving speeches tomorrow, and then the celebrations officially start. Emmeline looks at me hopefully. Want to practice our speeches tonight, Spacey? If you don't mind practicing after my magic lessons, then I don't mind. You must be so exhausted, Princess. I hope you're taking care of yourself. Anise fidgets. If you need any help with fatigue, I might have a few things on my shelves. Undoubtedly. You always have exactly what everyone needs, Lady Anise. I have to thank you for gathering those remedies for me on such short notice, too. When I give him a quizzical look, Chevalier smiles and shrugs. Is there a reason you're not telling me who they're for? It's a surprise. Fine, but I expect you to tell me later. It's a surprise. I don't think medical... Girl! I know HIPAA doesn't exist fucking in this universe, but HIPAA! It's none of your business what other people's fucking medical history is. You ain't a doctor. He shouldn't be telling you. Your wish is my command, beautiful Spacey. Who are those remedies for? None of your business. Speaking of commands, Emmeline tilts her head. Is there not a council meeting happening today? Emmeline's right. There is one last meeting before the festivities start tomorrow. Today is, thankfully, the last day we discuss taxes. I stifle a sigh. You're right. I should make my way over there. Allow me to escort you, lovely princess. I've barely seen you all morning. If you insist. I turn to Anise and Emmeline. Will you two be all right here without me? Of course. We'll see you at the palace, Spacey. Have a good meeting, Spacey. I'll see you tomorrow. After saying our goodbyes, Chevalier and I depart. Chevalier accompanies me back to the palace. I expect him to turn back at the gates, but he follows me through the corridors. Chef? Yes? Is there any reason you're still following me? I said I would escort you. I stop in front of the throne room doors. But you have. We're here. And then let's go in, shall we? Chevalier opens the doors before I could protest. Most of the counselors are already seated, though the meeting is yet to begin. All eyes land on us as we enter. Good afternoon, Lord Counselors. I'm humbled to be in your presence. My father, who's sitting at the head of the table, looks up and smiles. It's good to have you here, Sir Chevalier. Julian and Garland, who are sitting on either side of him, look equally as unsurprised to see Chevalier. A long time no talk. It's good to see you again, Sir Chevalier. The Honorable Knights of Caldera. No, it's my pleasure. Chevalier makes his way over to the table. Baffled, I trail behind him. When we're seated, I turn to him and hiss beneath my breath. What's happening? You remember that discussion about politics we had with the princes the other day? I nod. Well, later that night, His Majesty thoughtfully extended an invitation to sit in on a council meeting. I couldn't refuse him. Let me guess, you didn't tell me any of this because you like surprises. Chevalier beams at me. There's this devious look again. Right on the nose, princess. I wanted to surprise you by showing up as an unexpected advocate. While I appreciate the support, many of these counselors are Chevalier's patients. They're already critical of him. How will they receive him when he's out of his element? Eventually, when the chamber is filled, my father stands and announces the start of the session. I mean, you're sitting in, and maybe he'll, he doesn't have to say anything if he doesn't want to, you know what I mean? He's just sitting in. Good afternoon, lords and ladies. For the last few weeks, we've been discussing raising taxes. Today, I call you here for one final discussion. The heated talks resume immediately. I spare a glance at Chevalier, who's watching the proceedings quietly. It's only after one counselor makes the point that higher taxes would allow for us to invest in more expensive amenities and healthcare that he shifts in his seat, looking suddenly discontented. Chevalier has always been adamant about making things affordable for others. We encourage him to speak on his own, which is, I definitely feel is the right thing. Say what you, because let me voice it for him. You know what I mean? If he was uncomfortable, that would be like the nice thing to do. But in this, it's like you need to speak your mind and then they'll respect you for speaking your mind. And if they don't, they're assholes. But that's where we're leading, right? I lean close enough to whisper in his ear. You ought to share your opinion. I know you have one. The king would not have invited you here if he didn't want you to participate. Chevalier shifts to address my father. Permission to speak, your majesty. Please, Sir Chevalier. Chevalier argues that increasing taxes to invest in more expensive amenities will only be effective if their prices are lowered so that they're affordable to others. And taxes might be helpful if we considered subsidization. Chevalier makes the topic a more multifaceted one. Having been directly impacted by such decisions, he has more intimate understanding of how they affect the common citizens. Something that politicians just don't understand. Well, it's fine! Yeah, well, we all don't make millions of dollars, so, like, shut the fuck up. You took $20,000 from me this year. That's fucking absurd. What the fuck? For schools. I don't have kids in schools! Hello? That's just federal. That's not even state. So, like, whatever. That's not... What are you doing? So you think I make X amount of dollars a year? Not really. I make $20,000 less than that. That's... Well, but... So I hate that. This is what you make a year. Bullshit. I don't. I hate doing my taxes. I hate it. Why do they make me do it every year? I just did it last year. Like, and I have to get my car inspected every year, and I just did it last year. I don't like being an adult. I don't like the fees for having to exist. It sucks. Anyway, the table's quiet after he speaks, but it is, much to my relief, not a hostile silence. Well said, Sir Chevalier. There's little use in forcing the citizens to pay more for amenities they'll not be able to afford. But if we were to lower prices... The discussion continues on a more productive tangent, but here's the thing. We're going to raise taxes, but lower the cost of it, but then that money's so why don't you just leave things the way they are? Like, I'm going to charge you $10 to get in the door. But... then this product, instead of costing $20, is only going to cost $10. But it still cost me $10. It still cost me $20 in total. Now, if it costs me $10 to get in the door, and everything is only $10 as opposed to $20, and I buy 10 things, that saves me money, but, like, I guess it's really just cost-benefit analysis, I guess. But anyway. But the politicians are more like, we want higher taxes, because we could... invest like $6, $7,000 goes to me, and like $2 goes to this, but mostly me. Usually. So. Where'd my $20,000 go? Is what Some of that went to Medicare and Social Security, which I will never see in my lifetime. I want my money back. I want a refund. Damn it. Anyway. Chevalier leans toward me and speaks in a near whisper. Well, I unfortunately I'll get so fucking old and I'll be like, damn it, I don't want to be like 80. It seems painful and all. We're not going to be like Betty White, where you're like fucking in your 90s and you're like fucking more sprightly than anything. I'm not going to get more sprightly than I am now. She's in better shape than I am. Like, I'm just saying. I'm just falling apart mentally, okay? Don't mind me. Thank you, princess. For what? You know what for. He squeezes my hand under the table. Chevalier has always prioritized listening, but he needs to learn to speak up too. If I can be the one to teach him that, I'll be content. Eventually, the conversation draws to a close, and Father declares that taxes will not be raised. However, our talk has brought up many new issues that will need to be discussed in more detail, namely, the accessibility of healthcare. It'll be a complicated discussion, but it promises to be a fruitful one. When the meeting finally draws to a close, Chevalier deflates in his chair. I'm in awe that you do this nearly every day, Princess. You become accustomed to it. She's like, you have to deal with patients coughing on you on a daily basis. I couldn't handle that. But you did very well for your first time. Really? I feel like I might have rambled. You brought up very important issues. You give me too much credit. You're the wise, fearless one who always speaks her mind. He's blushing again. And today, that was you. I'm proud of you, Chev. Chevalier's responding smile is tired, but grateful, and it warms my heart. Sir Chevalier? I'm surprised one of the counselors wanders over to us. Ah, Lord Rem. If Chevalier knows him, then Lord Rem must be one of his patients. I prepare myself for a barb, but Lord Rem just smiles. You were brilliant today. He clears his throat. I wanted to apologize for mistrusting you. The medication you've prescribed is a miracle. It's only been a couple of days, but I feel significantly less exhausted. Ah, the herbal remedy. I'm relieved to hear it. I thought it might be easier on your body. Herbal remedy? Is this what Chevalier and Anise were discussing earlier? You thought correctly. I apologize for doubting you. I'd assumed the remedies you recommended were backwater substitutions. I mean... Look. Fucking St. John's wort isn't going to cure cancer or anything. You know? Okay, like, I'm going to meditate and take in the sun. That's not going to stop you from starving to death. You can't just live on sunshine and rainbows. But, you know. There are some herbal things that are, like, okay for you. Like, it depends. There's a line. Just know where to draw it, okay? Just because something is more expensive, that doesn't make it the superior solution. So I'm learning. Thank you, Sir Chevalier. I look forward to my follow-up visit. I mean, it really just depends. Like, you can get away... Like, there are certain things that you could take... To be more energized, you don't need to drink a Red Bull. You know what I mean? Like, here's a coffee. Have some fun with that. Like, I don't know. Look, I barely take medicine when I'm in pain. I just suffer. I'm just like, I hurt. I have a leave, but I don't wanna. Like, I don't want to because I don't want to be like, I take it so much that it's like, I have to take a bottle and everything still hurts. Like, I don't know. I have a psychosis. Just ignore me. Just ignore me. Go to a doctor, okay? I'm not a doctor. But you know what I mean? Like, I get, you're a doctor, herbal remedy. Really, again, it really depends. Let's be real. Some hippie remedies are bullshit. And then you have some things that actually, like, are good for things. Like, no, drinking herbal tea is not going to fix your arm that got chopped off. It's not going to be okay. You literally need to go to the hospital and get that checked. But anyway. Lord Rem gives a formal nod before walking away. I turn to Chevalier, although they don't have big pharma in this, so they don't have to worry about that. This is all they have is herbal remedies. If you think about it. I'm just assuming in this world. So the medication run you did in town the other day. I was dropping by Anise's pharmacy, yes. I thought the best way to prove I knew my practice was to show it, so I recommended more natural cures and remedies. I think maybe you found your path to acceptance. I hope so, Princess. Once the counselors have cleared out of the room, we're approached by Jurian and Garland. You handled yourself well in there, Chevalier. That's high praise, coming from the ever-collected commander of Caldera. I do love the fact that, like, Jurian is in charge of Garland, and they're in love with each other, and he's totally okay with it. He doesn't have some toxic masculinity bullshit knighthood thing. He's like, my future wife, she's a pretty awesome commander. It's sexy. I like it. Look, I'm just saying, there's a lot of men who would be like Garland and be like, yeah! Frickin' wife's the shit! And then there's other ones who would be like, what? Fucking woman can't do this job better than me. And I'm just saying, when a man appreciates that a woman is better than him at something, it's nice. Just saying. Just gotta give him props for it, okay? There's too much toxic masculinity bullshit. And I ain't here for that. Like, So I like the fact that in the game they wrote it and they were like, so like knights were typically dudes, but like fuck that. We got this lady knight. Awesome. We had her in the first game, but that was awesome then. And now it's like, and she's in charge. Yeah. Okay. I like this. Gotta call it out when it's there. I'm just saying. And I just love the fact that they're in love. It makes me excited. More excited than my romance. Still. Not over it. Garland smiles. Are they together in this one though? Because we haven't found that out. They need to be together in every world. She is ever collected, isn't she? Except for when flowers and compliments are involved. Oh, yes, you are, because you're giving her flowers and compliments. She can't handle it. Oh, I love it. Alon, we're not talking about that here. Oh, what's this about flowers? It's nothing. It's official night business? Yeah, night business, not night business. Business of the night. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The two speak at the same time. Jurian shoots Garland a look. He just responds with the sheepish smile. I love him so much, though. Like, I do. If she wasn't around, I'd be in love with him a little bit. But she's here, and I ship them so hard, and it's cool. It's alright. But he's a beautiful man, I'm not gonna lie. I clear my throat. Will you two be attending the festival? Of course, when we get the time off. What Garland said. We'd never miss the festivities. I'm sure going out together during the festival would make for an excellent date. This is not a date. It takes an effort to keep myself from laughing. Jurian can insist all she likes, but it's no secret she and Garland spend every moment of their free time together. They're like, you guys have a child together. Get over it. No, they don't. But like, I'm going to just be like, it's not a date. We're not married. Are you? We went to your wedding. Shut up. She's basically the normal MC, like in an Otome, you know, they're like, oh my god. Our conversation with the knights is cut short when Father calls on them to discuss palace security. After saying our goodbyes, Chevalier and I excuse ourselves. I am so happy that they're happy in every route. It does make me sad that Fritz was like dead, and then he was missing. And now he's here! Yay! But like, Jurian and Garland being together in every route and happy makes me happy. And then also now that Emmeline and Lance are a thing in every route, that's so fucking cute and I like it. So see, if you think about it, Jurian and Garland are always together. Okay. Lance and Emmeline are always together. We have a different boyfriend in each world, but it just makes me... No, see what it is? It's just this week is Chevalier's week. In the man harem. So you get my attention. That's what it is. We're all, it's literally, I just have a man harem, and it's just that, you know, it's just his time to shine right now. And then, like, next week, it's like freaking Claude's week, and that's when so I'm just saying. That's my theory. It's not alternate realities, it's literally just this week is Chevalier's week to be on top. That sounds inappropriate. You're welcome. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm never sorry. Sometimes I am legitimately, but not when I make creepy, pervy comments like that. I'm not sorry. You have fun with that. But, you know, so, like, and, like, it's proof because Fritz, he wasn't really dead. We thought he was dead, but then he was just missing, and now he's back, and we're like, well, thank God I thought you were dead. It was totally a misunderstanding. See? Facts. Now, if we do Waltz's route next and it fucks it up and Fritz is dead again, it's going to be like, did he? Guys, he's not dead. He just went on vacation. God. I know, we were worried. We thought he was dead, and then it was like, no, maybe he's just missing, and now he's back, and it's fine. See? It's just the flow of time. They're all my boyfriends. Man harem. Yes. I'm just going to try to turn everything into a fucking man harem. Look, I have one in my head, but I'm just going to try to turn every game into a man harem going forward, because, like, fuck it, I want my harem ending. Men can get harem endings in fucking games. Why can't I have one? Anyway. The day is full of pre-celebration preparations. Emmeline returns with the three princes, and together we discuss the week's planned festivities. We have to talk about the man harem a lot, because I'm just saying, we don't want to finish this chapter and get our ending in this part. We still have to have a whole nother part. This has to be 5 parts, even with everything else. Otherwise it's going to throw me off. Eventually, day bleeds into night. I find myself walking down the corridor with Chevalier, who's insisted on accompanying me to my magic practice. The last time he sat in on a practice, he cheered so ceaselessly, Delora threw him out. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of that incident. Like, I feel like there's a part of me that thinks, like, that'd be so cute to be like, yay, good for you. Oh my god, you're so amazing. But at some point you'd be like, you're exhausting. I love you, and I love that you praise me, and I love that you're sweet and wonderful, and you adore me, but like, holy crap, I need a break. You're exhausting. But then you're like, but I love you for it. The two of us make our way to the usual spot. I sense the buildup of a spell as soon as we step through the trees and ready my own shield and defense. This is deja vu. Delora's ice shoots towards my barrier and harmlessly shatters against it. Hello, Delora. Again, deja vu. Good evening, Your Highness. She raises an eyebrow at Chevalier. Hello, Casanova. Lady Delora, such a tranquil night, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I'm gonna guess this is Cinna, because the only other person would be in our magic practice would be Waltz. But I don't think Waltz would say anything so rude to Chevalier. Even if he's thinking it, he would never say it, so... I hope you don't plan on ruining it with all your chattering. Bam! The only time I could guess, because the attitude. The voice is familiar, but I'm still shocked to see Cinna sitting in the shadows at the edge of the clearing, watching us. Tiny Lord! What a pleasant surprise. It's been a while. I just saw you this morning. Cinna stands up and steps towards us. Hello, Princess Spacey. Hello, Cinna. I eye him suspiciously. Are you here to criticize my magic? Cinna doesn't respond immediately. He crosses his arms and looks away, mouth pulled into a taut frown. Cat got your tongue, Cinnamon? I was just thinking. Cinna looks up. I was thinking about how it might be beneficial to train together. Delora grins. I'd appreciate being given credit for my ideas, Cinna. Cinna grumbles. You may have mentioned it before. Why would you want to train with me? Well, I was thinking about how Hilda and Faye grew up friends but became distant over time. And I was thinking that perhaps if Faye hadn't left Hilda alone in the dark for so long, the war wouldn't have happened. But perhaps if they had remained close, things would have ended better. I do believe he's asking to be your friend, Princess. I'm not! Shut up! I'm here to train, not make friends! Basically. I suppose we can train together. For practical reasons. I like the way we're looking at him like, you want to be my friend? Squidward likes Krabby Patties! That's basically our face right now. It's the best fucking SpongeBob face ever. Delora snorts. You two really are cut from the same cloth. But enough banter. Let's get this show on the road. Chevalier seats himself in a tree stump as we begin our lesson. It's strange to practice side by side with a fairy. When I was first learning, I used to practice with Waltz, but this isn't like that at all. With Cinna, it feels less like a lesson and more like a balancing act. When he first came to Angeal, I was convinced we'd never get along, but... Princess, watch out! I glanced down just in time to see a root break through the ground. I burn it to cinders before it can wrap around my foot. That's cheating, Delora! All's fair during magic lessons. Now, maybe, I think Cinna and I are finally growing closer. We continue our lesson for the next hour, only stopping when Delora calls an end. Alright, that's where we end tonight, kids. I don't want to exhaust you the day before your performance. Me? Exhausted? Never. Cinna crosses his arms, but does little to hide the rapid rise and fall of his chest. I could have gone on for another hour. Sure. And then let's pretend this is my breaking point. She turns toward me. Good job tonight, Spacey. You and Cinna work well together. I agree. You're a very talented, tiny lord. Cinna smirks. It's gonna be so funny, like, 10 years from now when he's, like, more an adult, that he's still calling him a tiny lord and Cinna will be taller than him, but it'll be fun. I am, aren't I? He glances at me. You're not bad either, Princess. Not bad as high praise coming from the Lucius bearer. Delora claps her hands. All right, time to wrap things up. We'll see you tomorrow, Spacey. Chevalier. She didn't call him Casanova. Wow. After packing up her supplies and bidding us one final goodbye, Delora heads in the opposite direction toward the tavern. Cinna doesn't follow. He stands in the middle of the clearing, suddenly looking indecisive. I have a question for you. A question? Oh, ahem. A question. It's about my cousin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were both there when Faye passed away, right? Apparently, and I forgot. Beside me, Chevalier inhales sharply. Unthinkingly, I reach out to squeeze his hand. That's correct. Why? Cinna shuffles on his feet. I didn't know Faye very well. Most of my correspondence with her was through letters, but letters were rare. I think it was because she wanted to hide my identity during the war. I used to hate her for keeping me in the dark. Cinna curls his fingers into fists. I used to think she thought I was incompetent. When she died, I came to Angeal to prove that wasn't true. I told myself I wouldn't make the same mistakes she did. I told myself I would be decisive, and I wouldn't let the Lucius lure me into a false sense of calm. Cinna's shoulders slump. I have no idea who I'm trying to prove myself to anymore, now that Faye's gone. I can't even compete with her memory because I barely knew her. Cinna's eyes flick up toward us. Delora told me she died protecting you from a cruel witch, Spacey. He looks at Chevalier, who deflates beneath his gaze. And she said you tried to save her. Delora won't tell me about her final moments, though. I don't want to press her, but... You want to know what Parfait was like in the end? Yes. Chevalier's grip on my hand is heartbreakingly tight. We are supposed to let him answer. I know how hard this must be for Chevalier. He knew Parfait better than I did. She was one of his patients, after all. That's why he can tell Cinnamon more about her than I ever could. Oh, Cinna, not Cinnamon, but I like calling him Cinnamon, though. Parfait and Cinnamon, I swear to God. I squeeze his hand again. It's a silent consolation, my way of showing him that I'm here. She kept telling us not to fuss in the end. His words are soft, just an octave above a whisper. The witch who killed her was obsessed with Hildur. He wanted to bring her back. Anyone who stood in his way he viewed as an obstacle to be destroyed. That's what's-his-face that was fucking with Fritz, right? What's his name again? Why can't I remember it? Anyway, I knew him. I know. You know I know. It's anyway. Chevalier sighs. Mithros, was that his name? Yeah, anyway. Parfait knew he was hurting inside. When he killed her, she apologized to him. She said she was sorry Hildur never appreciated him. I killed the witch who stabbed her, but it didn't matter. The wound he inflicted on her was fatal. But even as she lay dying, she told us everything was as it should be. Lady Parfait put her life on the line without hesitation. She told me all the time that she was trying to make up for her mistakes. That's why, in the end, I don't believe she had any regrets. It was the greatest honor to be able to help her. For a few minutes, the forest is silent. The only sound, the gentle rustling of the leaves and sway of the grass beneath our feet. When Chevalier shivers, I wrap an arm around his shoulders. He promptly leans into me. Aww. Eventually, Cinna speaks into the quiet. Thank you for trying to save my cousin, and for being there with her until the end. I can't imagine the courage it took for her to hold on to her ideals and morals, even in the end. Lady Parfait was one of the strongest, kindest people I knew. I'll be forever grateful I could be one of her friends. Me too. Parfait believed in me from the beginning. I'll always be grateful for her patience and kindness. Neither she nor Delora gave up on me. Instead of leaving me to stew in my own anger, they rescued me. It was a drastic solution, perhaps even somewhat heartless, but it forced me to see things as I never had before. Cinna angles his head slightly, his eyes trained on the stars above us. And then he smiles. It appears as if I got my work cut out for me if I want to measure up to her. Chevalier straightens. Cinna, you're every bit as inspirational as Lady Parfait. I have no doubt she would be proud of you. Aww, he looks like... Okay. You know, Chevalier, you're not so bad. Did you just call me by my name? Cinna turns away with a grumble. There's no need to get so excited about it, old man. Even though he's turned away from us, I can see a smile on his face. I'll see you both tomorrow. Thanks for tonight. His goodbye is brisk. He disappears through the trees before we can respond. How strange that speaking about Lady Parfait tonight was almost... therapeutic. Talking about her brings her back, even if just for a little bit. When we talk about her this way, we can fashion her into a hero. As someone who made us, and the world, a better place, it's the least she deserves for her sacrifice. Sage words, princess. Chevalier lifts my hand to his lips and kisses my knuckles. And thank you for your support. Always, Chev. After savoring the quiet of the forest a little longer, we make our way back to the palace. The next day, we wake bright and early for the first day of the festival. The palace halls are emptier than usual, many of the staff taking time off to enjoy the festivities. A miniature stage has been erected outside the palace gates. For the last 30 minutes, we've all given brief speeches about the prosperity of Angeal and our hopes for the future. And everyone's like, yeah, wrap it the fuck up, we want a party! Not listen to this shit. Hey! We hope everyone prospers! You guys are awesome! Don't want to waste your time, let's go drink and have fun. I mean, you gotta say more than that, but still. That's why I'm not, like, in a queen or any kind of bullshit like that. Rod and I have already given our speeches and are waiting at the back of the stage for Emmeline, who's in the middle of addressing the crowds. As always, she overthought how difficult this would be. Emmeline's the most charismatic of us all. Why would she ever think she was bad at this? Rod shrugs. She gets nervous about disappointing people. We pause as the audience claps and Emmeline curtsies. Sometimes think about the toll training to be a queen would have had on her. He looks at me, thoughtful. You're good under pressure. Emmeline never has been. Thank you? Rod scoffs. Why do you sound so confused? It was a compliment. The stage creaks as Emmeline approaches. She sighs softly. I can't believe that they made... I can understand me because I'm the crown princess, but I can't believe they made, like, Emmeline and Rod make speeches. You know what I mean? It's like the king, and, like, maybe if they want to say something, but if they don't, nobody should be offended. They're like... Yeah, they're the royal family, but not... Could you imagine? What if the king had, like, 7 kids? Oh, God, we gotta sit here for all 7 of these fuckers to talk. You know what I mean? Oh, thank gods that's over! Did I sound okay? Of course you did. You got the best reception of any of us. Someone even threw flowers at you. Emmeline shakes her head. Oh no, that was... Prince Lance. I didn't miss him standing by the front of the stage, beaming at Emmeline the entire time. He was clearly enamored with her. I really, like... Yeah, that sounds like something someone from Brigantia would do, one of those 2 princes throwing flowers. Like, oh, no! Oh! Between the 2 of them. I heard from Mother that he came by to surprise me with a bouquet this morning, but I was already gone. So he threw it at you on stage? Rod sighs. If Chevalier was here, he would make a comment about how romantic this is. It kinda is. It's cute. It's a good thing he's not here. Were you less nervous having him in the audience? You know, and now that I think about it, yes. Lance said he gets nervous on stages too. He was giving me advice last night. Yeah, he was giving you advice, that's what they're calling it? Was he? Yes. Rod's like, fucking kill that guy, giving my sister his advice. Rod, he was actually giving her advice, that's not slang, but... Well, that was kind of him. No, maybe she means advice in parentheses, and that's exactly what... He's giving me advice all night. Emmeline's too good of a girl to do something like that. The rest of us would be like, no. Chevalier, I need a lesson in anatomy. Wink, wink. I should not be allowed to play these games! Anyway, cheers from the audience break apart our conversation. The king calls all of us to the front of the stage and, together with Ophelia, we announce the beginning of the festival. Before, I shunned the idea of participating in these speeches and events. Now, looking at all these smiling faces, I can't help but be glad I'm here. My eyes snag on a familiar face in the audience. Chevalier stands at the front, waving at me. His most excited pupil, the young boy he saved all those years ago, stands beside him, also waving. Chevalier told me yesterday that recently, the boy's been allowed to visit the palace to watch him work. He also clings to Chevalier when we're wandering the town. Chevalier always talks about bringing me out here to spend time alone together, but he's so well liked by others that it's often difficult to find that time. I can't possibly be disgruntled about the situation, though. I can never be irritated that people are warming up to Chevalier. As soon as I'm able to, I descend the stage steps and head for Chevalier and his pupil. You are spectacular as always, my lovely princess.
As always.
The boy parrots the words and laughs. Then he looks at Chevalier.
I told my ma I'd meet her after the speeches. See you later, Doctor, Princess.
The boy runs through the crowd, leaving Chevalier and I to speak to the amassing crowds. I greet townsfolk with handshakes and greetings while Chevalier speaks more conversationally. The minute we have a moment to breathe, I grab Chevalier urgently by the sleeve. I just remembered the magic show. Why did we plan for it to happen so soon after the speeches? I pull Chevalier along before he can protest, but of course he doesn't. He just smiles and laughs, and when I pick up my pace, he loops his arm through mine and begins skipping down the street. That's fucking adorable. A man skipping down the street. Come on to Her Highness's magic show. His cheer is contagious. Soon I find myself skipping alongside him, trying not to laugh as we nearly trip over each other's feet. Okay, I just want someone who's nerdy enough to skip with me down the fucking street. Where are we skipping down a street? I don't know, but like, I just want to fucking do it. Alright. We're a little under time, but I don't know. This could be a couple of minutes for the magic show. It could be another 10 minutes. And I don't want to go too far over just because we're at the end of chapter 5. You know? So I feel like chapter 5, we should be able to get another full hour part. So I'm going to stop here a little under time. Just so we don't go too far over. And then, yeah. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up. And subscribe to see more.